Hi, Doug. Thanks for joining us today.
Greg, thanks for having me.
Now, Doug, you've recently completed your IPO in July, raising around $10 million. How do you plan to deploy that capital, and what will it mean for growth moving forward?
What we're using that capital against, first and foremost, was to reduce and eliminate our short-term debt. That was about $3 million. And then we'll deploy the remaining net capital of $6 million towards advertising, where we think we can really attract some tremendous top-line sales from customers.
What's the essential value proposition? Why should investors take an interest in Goedeker's today?
Well, I think they're at the beginning of an incredible change that's happening, and we've seen this whether it's with Wayfair or Carvana or others. Big ticket durable items are moving with greater speed and demand than ever before, and we're just part of that journey. We happen to spend most of our time on appliances and furniture, but if you want to be part of a company that's already able to scale on a fixed cost platform with the marketing in place that needs to be expanded upon, we're a great choice for that.
How big is that market opportunity, Doug?
Well, the appliance market alone is $18 billion, and the direct-to-consumer part of that is maybe only $2 or $3 billion. So there's a lot of runway between that $2 or $3 billion and somewhere closer to, call half of that business that at some point in the near term will be done online. So lots of growth opportunity there, and that's where we position ourselves in a very strong industry.
Doug, let's talk about the business model. How does Goedeker's make money?
We make money a couple of ways. Just to understand our model, we start with a marketing spend primarily through Google that attracts customers to our website. They've already been shopping up to that point. So this is not a top of the funnel exercise, not a Facebook play or a blogging play or any kind of social media play. It's when people are already shopping. They come to our site through that funnel. They spend time on that site, and we get a session from them, which creates a cart, which creates a conversion, which is a sale. We take their order, we process the order, and then we ship it out. So it's a very simple model, hard to do. We've been doing it for 12 years on a scale of about $50 million, but we think the runway is much larger.
Doug, could you talk to us about your growth strategy?
Well, again, the growth strategy is we're learning that we've got much more to spend to attract consumers to our website. And our belief was if we could jumpstart that spend, that we could jumpstart the top line, which of course would amplify and create a profit on the bottom line. And that's the strategy. We will, in addition to that, if we're going to sell more product, our logistics have to turn up dramatically, and we're making great investments there. You may have seen the addition of Art Smuck to that equation, who's the ex-president of FedEx supply chain. So we'll get a lot of good stuff from that relationship. And on top of that, we've got to do some work around some commercial opportunities that we think will be in front of us once we get those other two things more in place.
Doug, you have an impressive background. Tell us about yourself.
I'm really fortunate. I've spent more than 25 years in retail, and all of that in hardlines retailing. So not apparel, but things like appliances and televisions and computers. I spent a number of years as the chief merchandising officer at Circuit City, and also was the president of appliances for Sears. So I know this space well. And I'm excited because I think this is the one part of the appliance equation that really hasn't been exploited for the value and the consumer interest that lays out in front of us. So that's my background.
Who are some of the other key players on your management team?
Well, of course, I'm turning to Bob Berry, my CFO, who you saw in the prospectus as an identified, a seasoned veteran who understands public requirements of accounting, has been through IPOs, and again, when you run an enterprise like this, very important to have structurally someone very sound in the treasury piece as well as the accounting function. So very happy to have Bob in that role. Working with Bob on the accounting side is Rob Barris as our controller. So that's been a real plus to add some heft to that accounting and finance role. On the marketing side, we're relying on Sean Harcum, who comes to us as the chief marketing and technology officer, really well seasoned, 15 plus years in the digital space. Lots of things that need to be done every day if that's going to jumpstart the business. So we're happy to have Sean in that role. And then I'm leaning on Mike Hargrave, an ex-Sears guy, on the appliance merchant side, as well as some of the logistics and order processing. So a really strong team. We can build a lot from that, and we're very excited about them.
To recap, Doug, what's the main takeaway for investors? Why should they own your stock today?
Well, the main takeaway is we're at the beginning of our financial journey here in the public space, and we believe that we've got the ability to scale to 200 to 400 to 500 million dollars in sales, with the associated profits that would come with that on a largely fixed cost structure that will only grow on the variable side in a way that's profitable. We think we can drop 10 cents to the bottom line over a relatively short period of time, and an investor will gain as that investment will grow in value in the marketplace on the stock exchange as those profits materialize, and will become valued at a multiple of those profits, which would be a great place to be as an investor.
Makes a lot of sense, Doug. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.